いた方がいろいろと便利だろ。何部なのかはこれから考えるとしてだな。よっと。
全部本物なの？
これドロシーが一人で。少しは見直した？ええ。今度アリクイ小屋を作るときお願いするわ。
This, young lady, is why you never touch someone else's gun and always make safe a gun you have permission to touch. And yes, other young lady, these are all real, well, mostly, as far as I can tell. Okay, with one definite exception. They're all real. And a belated Ohio to all my fellow weebs and nerds. I'm the Lefty Gun Nut, here to prove that those who badmouth guns and gun owners are as wrong as those who claimed anime and role-playing games were going to make us murder each other in sewers and turn into pedophiles. Mostly, I'm going to talk about the fun of guns. Today in particular, identifying those in an anime. Princess Principal has been described as Jean Le Carre meets H.G. Wells. The main characters are, of course, a bunch of cute high school girls, including a royal princess. But in this anime, they are spies in a dark world where London is divided into east and west by a fortified wall, and the Commonwealth of Albion is in a cold war with the Kingdom of Albion. Albion is not Britain, I swear. Like with Wells, there are pseudo-science fiction elements like the anti-gravity material Cavorite and the use of steam power for everything. But the firearms are, mostly, well grounded in reality, although more than one of them are somewhat anachronistic for the 19th century. I'm hoping it will be as fun for you as it was for me to ferret out the real guns behind the drawings. As always, at the very end, I'm going to ask one singular Canadian political question, which I hope you'll at least consider, if not answer. But enough of that. Let's get on to the fun. First up is a strange hybrid automatic revolver. The Webley-Fosbury automatic or self-cocking revolver was the invention of a Lieutenant Colonel Fosbury in 1895. Then it was developed by the company Webley & Scott and manufactured from 1901 to 1924. Unlike a single-action revolver which was operated by manually cocking the hammer, or even a double-action which used a long, hard trigger pull to rotate the cylinder and cock as well as drop the hammer. It used recoil to cycle the action and make the barrel and cylinder assembly slide back against the rest of the gun and rotate the cylinder with a pin that would run up and down the zigzag grooves in the cylinder. While some target shooters liked it, it was never adopted by the military for issue. Privately owned Fosburys in the field developed a reputation for unreliability, as they combined the worst of both the revolver and automatic worlds. At least, however, it is current into the age of steam. Well, barely. Like our next guest. I have no doubt that this is a Luger, although I'm not sure if it's in 7.5 millimeter Luger or 9 millimeter Parabellum. The version in 1908 that resulted in the creation of probably the most popular round in this modern day. Just about anyone can recognize the distinctive look of a Luger, even spot it with an extended barrel used as Princess Leia's pistol. It was designed in 1898 and produced from 1900 to 1943. It is more famous as a World War II pistol in movies and such, but like the Mauser C96, it's technically a product of the late 19th century. It does seem odd, however, that such a pistol would be in the hands of an agent of the Crown. I mean, this is Albion, not Britain, but anyway, the same could be said of what's up next. If you remember my video on the Han Solo blaster, you'll recognize this gun. From the animation, however, instead of being a C96 made in 1896, it appears to be the fully automatic version, which wasn't made until the 1930s. Again, yes, this, the first successful auto pistol, was used by nearly everyone in private service. It was the iconic gun of many real and fictional notables. However, the British military did not adopt it. In the anime, though, we are talking Albion, not Britain, and with the girls being Commonwealth spies, that leaves the Kingdom agents as the bad guys, and the Mauser is often used in fiction as a bad guy gun. Well, okay, maybe not all the guns in this anime are real. I've struggled to find anything remotely like it. The multiple barrels suggest some sort of Gatling, which did exist well before the time of other guns. The fat barrel shroud suggests a miniature Lewis gun, which is a contemporary with the pistols shown so far. If it is like a Lewis gun, that tube covers up the extensive air cooling system, a thing contraindicated by the three muzzles that peep out of the front. If it's like a Gatling, it needs some sort of motor or engine or hand crank to rotate the barrels and fire them. Given the genre, it's probably powered by steam.
どうやってここに
キンブル公安部長だな。うちのボスがあんたに聞きたいことがあるってさ。
Webley and later Webley and Scott are the Colt or Smith & Wesson of Britain. Their revolvers were British issue from the 1800s well past World War II, and they were in service with someone in the world from 1887 to 1970. The black-haired spy girl is holding what looks like a classic Webley top brake, different from a swing-out cylinder that would be more familiar in North America. It came in a variety of rounds, but the 19th and turn-of-the-century military revolvers were chambered in .455 Webley, a powerful round respected for its stopping power. I wouldn't want one of those pointed at my head.
大使館に戻られてゆっくりされるといいでしょう。心遣い感謝します。
So, I'll link a video from another YouTuber in the information section below on this oddity. Short story. The provenance of this gun is dubious. It appears to be a later design made to look like an historical piece. It is a small caliber, very small and weak, but very quiet as a result. It can be hidden in one's hand if one wants to point the business end at one's palm. It is also a very dubious function, as in very unsafe to load, carry, cock, and fire. But it is real and very spy-like. The M1858 Le Faucheux was a French pistol from the early days of cartridge ammunition. It used a strange priming system called pinfire that was quite different from the modern centerfire cartridge, and that's why it has that distinctive top-striking hammer in both the anime and real life. It was originally made for the French Navy by the French National Armories, as well as by a national French company. It saw use beyond that, being a popular cavalry pistol for northern troops in the American Civil War. The open frame and pinfire hammer make me confident that this pistol and the one in the anime are one and the same. This one is truly a product of the Steam Age.
Carry on my wayward son. There'll be peace when you...
John Moses Browning, who will come up a lot in videos about guns, designed this pump-action, tube-fed, exposed hammer shotgun. It was produced from 1897 to 1957 and used by soldiers, police, private security, and hunters alike. Known as the trench gun, it saw service in both world wars, although the Germans considered its use a war crime and tended to summarily execute captured soldiers who used them. Though 12-gauge shotgun shells are at 18 millimeters, more than twice the diameter of most other bullets, and just as long as many rifle rounds. The recoil on them is huge, and their destructive energy at close range is unmatched. With the ability to fire anything from rifled slugs, saboted steel spikes, rubber stun rounds, and scatter shot from the size of pistol bullets to grains of salt, shotguns are one of the most versatile firearms around. A go-to for varmints, predators, game of all sizes, and of course, combat. During the late 1800s, 1888 to be exact, the magazine-fed cartridge-firing bolt-action rifle of the British Army was the Lee Metford. A modification of that, made at the Enfield Armory, became the first Lee Enfield, also known as the short magazine Lee Enfield, that served during World War I. The number 4 didn't actually see service until World War II. However, it is definitely what is up on the gun wall. Bolt-action Lee rifles have been the British military's standard rifle from before the Boer War to 1957, well into the Cold War. Most recently of note as the sidearm of The Mandalorian, the Bergmann No. 1 was designed, surprisingly enough, by one Theodor Bergmann of Germany, and was a less successful competitor with the better-known Mauser. Like the Mauser, it came with a hollow detachable holster, and later versions of it had a detachable instead of integral box magazine. I'm sure one of the guns in the middle row is at least some kind of Bergmann. There were later models going up to 1897. actually two Stinger pen guns, one made by the American Office of Strategic Service during World War II, and another made between 1993 and 1997 by a company named Braverman. The original fired a .22 short caliber pistol round and then had to be thrown away. The 1990s model bent into something resembling a pistol and could be reloaded with .25 caliber automatic Colt pistol rounds, which are not very much more powerful. While the idea may be cool, the actual value of such a gun is dubious at best. Are they all real? Well, for the most part, yes. My exploration was not comprehensive. Most of the others on the gun wall at least match a type and style, like the British Bulldog or the Derringer. And most of the ones I did cover can be, with a bit of a stretch, considered creations of the Steam Age. A couple of them are rather obscure, others are iconic, and a couple more the province of espionage novels and movies. I can't say any of them are inappropriate for an anime about steampunk spy girls. This has been the Lefty Gun Nut. If my video or channel seems to be worth watching to you, please like, subscribe, and share. Below are a couple of links to some other videos up on guns, and a couple of more to some places I like to shop at. But finally, my lone Canadian politics question. I alluded to this one in my intro. My fellow anime fans, role players, furries, etc. Do you remember the inflammatory lies and misconceptions spread about you? Would you entertain the idea that the same is being done to guns and gun owners? And if so, would you seek out the truth and contest the untruths on our behalf? That's all. Ciao meow, and be safe.
Show the way.